Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, everybody is searching for joy, but how do you find it? You can have riches, you can have a lot of things that people seek their whole life and not have joy. How do you find joy? We'll talk to two leading experts next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Okay, you may wonder why I'm sitting on a throne. It's not the typical chair that you'll see on this set. I'm going to call this the throne of joy. And my next two guests, Sheryl Lynn, she's the founder of Joyely, and Dr. Alise Cortez, she's a best-selling author of Purpose Ignited. Thank you both for coming on the show. Excited, and I love the topic. So we should probably start with you, Sheryl Lynn, and explain this throne that I'm sitting on. This is your favorite chair in the whole world.
In the whole world, and it's actually called the chair of joy. Excuse me, the chair of joy. You threw me off with the throne there. But
well, I feel like an emperor.
The idea is, Jeff, is to get people. It's a gimmick, right? In business, when you have things like this, is to remember that sitting still and focusing on remembering what's important is where those memories, when we jar those up in our lives, is when we get the real joy. The real joy, it doesn't cost anything, and it affects our bottom line. It affects abundance, prosperity, health, wealth, all of our staff and our employees. So it's really important that we sit still and be quiet. And so therefore, that's why I'm showcasing that, and you're in it.
I love it. I love it. And you're on a national tour right now. You've been all over the place.
I just arrived in Dallas. We went to Austin, and then we're on our way to Houston, and then New Orleans, Pensacola, and up to Atlanta, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison.
Wow. Well, we're going to show a clip in just a second, but let's go ahead and get to you, Dr. Alise Cortez. Let's talk about your book. Go ahead and hold it up so everybody can see it. Purpose Ignited. Tell us about that.
So this book I wrote to turn readers on, really, because what happened for me, Jeff, is when I was out speaking, I would speak to audiences and I would ask them, what are you passionate about? You know what the #1 response was when I asked that question? Guess.
What?
I don't know. People would say they don't know what they're passionate about. So I thought, you have one precious life. You have to know what you're passionate about, and you got to go do something about that. So I wrote the book to turn on readers to their passion, their inspiration, and their purpose.
All right, we've got videos of both of you. Let's go ahead and start with Sheryl Lynn's video. Let's show a little clip here.
Joy took precedence, and that is the rally cry of Joyely Studios. So the first thing that I do is find my joy. I'm at this vintage shop. There's so many things that give me joy. I love it. I find my joy in old things and some new things. I find joy in camping, walking in the woods, laughing with friends and family. How do you find your joy? What gives you joy? So congratulations, finding your joy is so key. And then it's all about being your joy. Being your joy gives you endless amounts of energy, it invigorates you, and just makes you have a blast every single day. For me, when I leave here today, I'm going for a walk in the woods, and I'm probably going to call one of my daughters and have a chuckle about something that we did a long time ago. That gives me joy, and it's being joy that gives me joy. Finding, being, and sharing your joy. Sharing is last. Sadhguru says that joy is within, and if you're trying to find it out there, you're probably not going to find it. So if you want to change the world, you've got to figure out how to transform here. Joyely community prevails. It excels. It is successful. We are exhilarated. We are climbing to new heights. We are doing the things because we feel joy inside first and foremost. And so there you have it. Here we are at our very first Joyely Studios, where joy took precedence. That is our rally cry. What are you doing today to experience joy? Every hour, on the hour, report in with yourself. Check in. Check off the I feel joy.
I love it, and you have a gift because you can feel the joy through the TV set. I mean, you really are happy. You're like, I run into a lot of coaches and consultants that they're not eating their own cooking. I mean, you're like, why am I listening to you? But you actually live it and experience it, don't you?
Well, when I discovered that joy is the most feared emotion per Brené Brown in her 12 years of research. So when I got over the fact that I just had to bust through my fear to get to joy and know that it's not there or someday, it's right here, right now. It's really exciting when you figure it out. And it's pretty easy because you're going to go through the process in a little bit.
Okay, we're going to show that in a minute. And we're also going to show Dr. Alise Cortez's video in a minute. But I want to talk about how you guys met because there's a great backstory. Dr. Alise?
Oh, it's a fantastic story. It is a joyful story. So I was minding my own business, hosting my radio show, Working on Purpose, had on Mel Melrick, and we were having a conversation about finding our passion in our work and our purpose in our work. And this one is doing a drive from Wisconsin to Oregon, picks up my podcast somehow, and here's the whole thing, gets so excited, she picks up the phone and she calls me.
And she answered.
And she said, I just heard your show, and I'm so excited. And you tell the rest.
Yeah, basically, you know, I poured my heart and soul out, and she listened to it, and we've been talking every day since, or a couple times a week for a year and a half.
So she had this idea, and I'm like, you have to do it.
Yeah.
That is something that's coming from inside of you that wants to be released into the world. You have to let it out. So we've been working for the last year and a half to help her let it out.
Okay, we've been promising people your video, so let's go ahead and roll that clip now.
Let's do that.
I want to invite you to come with me on a journey. Will you come with me? Yeah? Let's go on an adventure. So I want to ask you, what will you do with your one precious life? What will you do? But the point being is you don't know how long you get. You just don't know. And so it's really, really important that we are conscious about what we're doing in this life. The thing about his work that I really resonate with is his whole thing is he says that our primary motivation is to find meaning in our lives. And I think that's absolutely true. He then goes on to say that there's a certain tension between what one is and what one should become. And that healthy tension is the motivating force in our lives, and it's indispensable to well-being. It's really good for the soul, but beyond that, it's actually pretty good for our health, as it turns out as well. And so when you think about this, it's so important for flourishing in terms of well-being.
And I think that's so profound because that's what we're all looking for, isn't it? Dr. Alise, staying with you, what is a secret that we can draw from your book? What is one thing that people can take action on right now?
That meaning is available everywhere, every moment. It's up to you just to notice it.
Outstanding. You both have very popular podcasts. We're going to roll some video of Sheryl Lynn's podcast, and I want to have you talk about it a little bit. Tell me who you interview and what you hope to accomplish.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, who am I interviewing?
Oh, no, we're going to roll some video of one of your your recent shows.
So I interview all CEOs. One of them I think we're watching today is Dawn Kirk, and she is an ex-Coca-Cola executive. She's managed over 5,000 employees. She's had a couple of $1 billion in finances that she operates, and she sat in her chair of joy, and she really wasn't quite clear about how she could celebrate her success.
Wow. And are you always having breakthroughs with your guests?
Constant transformation. When somebody sits down in the chair, they stand up as another person, and it's pretty powerful, actually, every time.
Outstanding, outstanding. Okay, Dr. Alise, let's go to your show. Tell us more about your show.
So mine's been in the making for 5.5 years, and it started off showcasing passion, because I wanted people to recognize that you could actually be passionate like you are in your work.
Thank you.
And then I told stories you're welcome about inspiration. So I realized you need inspiration to find passion sometimes. So people on who had survived electrocution, cancer, et cetera. And then we moved on to purpose and showcased what it is to actually live on purpose, work on purpose. And now it's really a thought leadership platform that showcases thought leaders, authors, subject matter experts, et cetera, who are helping us create a workplace where we can thrive and do business in a way that betters the world.
Outstanding. We also promised that you have an exercise that we would like to do, and it involves me.
It does.
I'm nervous. I'm scared.
Can you put your paper and
I'm
pencil
gonna-
down?
yes,
That would be
absolutely.
fabulous.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just relax.
Okay.
So you just want to sit back in the chair.
Okay.
How does it feel to be in the chair, first of all?
Powerful.
Does it?
Yes.
How so?
This is, you know, it's just something regal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look great in it,
Thank
by the way.
you.
Yeah. So you already got your feet on the floor, so if I could just ask you to take it one deep breath.
Okay.
And exhale. And on this next deep breath, I want you to tap into one little joy, any moment. How old were you? Where were you? Where were you sitting? What were the sights? What were the sounds, the smells?
Okay.
And open your eyes when you're ready and share that with me.
You know, I honestly, I thought of my son, who's sitting right off stage, and I thought of just his smile, and it reflects back kind of a mini me, and so I didn't go back in time. I went back to like 3 minutes ago when we were all sharing a story.
So his smile.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. We're going to do it one more time.
Okay.
Deep breath in. One other place, maybe a different age you were when joy was just clicking. You just had everything working out for you. You were in your sweet heaven.
Okay.
And open your eyes, and when you're ready.
When I was a little child, so I grew up in Detroit, dangerous place for a kid to grow up. Summers were packing everybody in the station wagon, 3 kids and a dog, and driving from Detroit to Ennis, Texas. And the 3 boys could run the town of Ennis, Texas, a little Mayberry RFD town, and we felt so free and drank Dr. Pepper when it was a regional brand. You couldn't get it in Detroit. Yeah. Happy childhood memories.
When's the last time you thought of that one right there?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea is when you think about your son's smile and your family in that small little town and growing up, what would you say the word is that connects those 2 memories? Is there one word?
Innocence.
Innocence. Beautiful. I love that. Now I'm going to ask you to visualize a container. If you could put innocence in a container, what would that container look like? Can you describe it for me?
A container of innocence. I think it would be like a big clear jar.
Okay. Simple.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Container of innocence. I just see the innocence being kind of a clear liquid in a clear jar.
Beautiful. All right, let's pretend, how big is it? Perfect. Okay, we're going on an airplane now.
Okay.
You're going to take that big, clear, beautiful jar of innocence that feels so good. We're walking off the Tamarack, and there's 100 CEOs. And you want to offer them a gift of innocence. What would you say?
Wow. I want you to drink from this jar, guys, because this stuff is powerful.
How so?
Those memories that I just shared with you are just joyful memories, and a time when life seemed less complicated, and yeah.
And how can they benefit from something like that?
I think this exercise you're putting me through is powerful, and to get people out of whatever game they're playing, seeking fame or fortune, or running on that hamster wheel, and getting them to go to another place, I think that's really powerful.
Perfect. Okay, one more little journey with this beautiful jar. If you could give it to someone else today, who would that be and why? Who needs it? And it could be somebody you don't know.
Right. I would give it to somebody that I don't know who's out of work right now and experiencing a bunch of fear about bills and a bunch of fear about the future.
Beautiful. Perfect. So the idea that you just went through, that was the framework for the Chair of Joy. So the idea is when you sit still and tap into joy, because it's free, my ask is, can you do that 3 or 4 times a day?
Wow. Yes.
And can you do it in your own chair of joy? And I have a little present for you today.
Okay.
And this is a scarf, a Joyely scarf. And if you were to put it on your own chair of joy, where would it be? What does that chair of joy look like?
Oh, you mean like
Your own.
drape it?
Yes, to put it over the back of a chair in your house or in your office or anywhere. So the idea is any chair, anywhere, anytime.
I think I would just wear it around.
Oh.
I would be peacocking.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful
So
exercise.
the last one is just, what would you say to the power of the chair of joy? What would you say to CEOs? Do you think they should bring it into their boardrooms?
Absolutely. I think you folks need to hire both of these ladies because they are very wise and they bring some real substance and not just clever words and slogans. Because I run into a lot of people who say things that sound flowery, but they're not actionable, and you don't know what to do next.
We were talking off stage that before show that you really have this beautiful essence about you already. You're extremely joyful. Some people that sit in a chair are really staunch and are, fearful. A lot of times people won't even show up because the chair is a little bit intimidating. But once they go through the process, they're just showing up as a different person, and they're like, you're right, I don't do this. I'm always on to the success being the driver instead of joy being the driver. So when joy is the driver, what other prosperity and wealth and relationship would all click into place if that were the case.
This is so powerful.
Like she said, I'm on a mission and it won't let me go. Like, I've got to talk about joy, and we want to be bringing in all the people in the world that talk about joy. There's already so many. What if we did it together?
Oh my goodness, I'm so impressed. Okay, final thoughts before we show your websites. Dr. Alise, let's start with you.
Well, as Sheryl says, joy is free. And it's abundant, and it's always available, but it's up to us to presence it. And when you think about how it's related to well-being, my space, of course, is around meaning and purpose. It fuels meaning. It fuels your ability to reach for meaning, and certainly to live your purpose more fully.
Okay, Sheryl Lynn, final thoughts.
Yes, so many. I just want to thank you for this opportunity. Your operation brought many qualified CEOs to our Chair of Joy yesterday, and so joyely.com, joyely.com/tour if you want to go visit the actual tour, and if you're out there and you're on the way in a very safe CDC regulated environment, we'd love to interview you.
Outstanding. Okay, we're going to put both websites up. Let's start with Joyely, joyely.com.
Yeah.
Right there on the screen, there's the Chair of Joy. And we're going to finish with AliseCortez.com. You two have been amazing. What a power team you are.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for letting me sit in the
You
Chair
look
of
fabulous.
Joy. Yes, thank you. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you next time.